Hello, welcome to another video in the quiz series Ruby on Rails. And first of all, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do subscribe because almost 75% of our viewers have not subscribed to the channel. So please do subscribe. I have memberships all on, so if you want to become a member, do join this channel. You can find more details in the description. Okay, and you can follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, and other channels. That's all. Now let's start. So in last video, what we did was we established more database related things in our quiz application, right? Now, at this point, you should be comfortable with doing basic database related things like using a generator to create the model, doing the migration, connecting two different databases using the foreign key and all. Okay, so these are the basic things, and you should be comfortable with using the Rails console a bit because I have explained all those things previously. Now, in this video, we'll go in depth. Okay, so at this point, we know that all these things in database exist. But if you remember the MVC model, our database used to get connected with models. Okay, those models are called active records. Okay, so if we go to our, let's say, any model, you will see application record, which in turn, this is application record, which in turn uses active record. Okay, so active record is a class which helps in Rails to communicate with the database and create a class object. Okay. So what happens is if you are using, let's say, Android or any other framework which is not as you developer friendly as Rails, you will have to do a lot of setup work. So one of the setup works in those things is that your database is a separate thing, but similar to your database, you create different classes. Okay, so that you can read those database related rows in a specific format. Okay, so those classes in Rails, we call them active record and models. Okay, so let's go in depth of those models. Okay, by the way, this was an auto-generated code because we used generator, but I'll explain you all these things. Okay, so again, let's start from the top. The first model that we generated was quiz. So let's start from that. Okay. And along with that, what I will do is I'll open my schema also. Do understand this video really well. This is a very simple video, but at the same time important enough that you will encounter this on day-to-day basis in Ruby on Rails. Okay. So let me split this and write. Great. Okay. So this is a quiz model. So let's go to quiz model, quizzes. We don't have to worry about date time because these are the things that get taken care of by Rails framework itself. So let's see title and description. Do we need title empty or not? Okay. If we could have added null false here. You can still do that by doing a migration. But there is one more thing which we can do. Even if you do that also, then also there is one thing that we should do, which is uh, okay. Let's take an example. For example, we made a query from view. It will go to controller. From controller, it will uh, go to model. Okay. Now in that query, what we have done is we have added the title, but we haven't added the description. Okay. And what we want is both of these should be non-null. These should not be null. Okay. Assume that it is return null false. Okay. Just assume this. It's not there. It's fine. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, the title is available, description is null. Okay. So as soon as this model will try to add that to our database via this schema file, what will happen is the database will give us error that description is not available, which is fine. But database are not that performant. They from model to database and getting response back to the model, it requires some extra milliseconds. It is not that fast basically. Okay. Obviously for computer it is fast, but if there are thousands of users, it will become slow. So what we would want is this is a very simple thing. Like we don't need them to be null. So instead of making a call check at the database level, what we would want is we should make that check at the model level. Okay. So it's a good practice to have this at database level also. But another thing that you can do is add that at model level also. Okay. So let's fix it at both the levels. Okay. In my perspective, both are really important. The first one will make sure that you don't interact with database a lot, making sure that there is not much traffic or the database is not overloaded by useless queries. But at the same time, we need it at the database level also so that it makes our database a bit secure. So let's go into that. add not null constraint to existing call in Rails. Let's do. Okay. So we just want to add. So we want to change column name, column null. There should be a table name. There should be a column name and make it false. Okay. Let me see this. Change column should be the correct way. So let's start. Rails generate. Now we are not creating the model, we are just generating a migration, we are just updating a model. So earlier we were using generate model, but we are just migrating it, we are not creating a new model. So we'll use generate migration. I'll have to see this. Even if there is any error, I'm not worried about this. Let me check. Rails generate migration. Yes, it's a correct command. You can name it and you can name various names and all those things. So let's start. Okay. Clear Rails generate migration. Now I'll write something which makes sense to me. Okay. So what I'll do is may update title and description in quiz. Enter. Okay. Now there was a typo, so that's not an issue. I'm not afraid of making mistakes in these kind of things just because I know that I'm not perfect and I don't want to be perfect in these kind of things. You should not focus on that. You should focus on just learning things, understanding things, not remembering the exact code. Rails generate migration, let's enter. It will generate a file in this. Now you see the name that we used here is the name similar here. Okay, so in future, if I want to see, okay, when did I update this? I can directly go to this file because now it is something which makes sense to me, right? So let's go this is the file. Okay, now what do we want to do? We want to change. Let me check that reference again. Change column. Let me check this here just because I had to change it in a but why is it not approved? Even if it is 307, why is it not approved? That's my query. Okay, no issues. Let's follow this. Change column. If there will be any error, we'll see to it. Table name is quizzes. We want title. Let me, yes, title to be false. Okay, or what we can do is we can go through other queries also to understand this a bit simple way. Null false. We can just use null false. Okay, let me try if with description also. Let's see if both of these will work in same one or not. Let me expand this. Okay, so it's a simple change. We are doing a migration. Change column null, but we are mentioning only. Okay, okay, we could have done this in a bit simpler way, but let's do it in two different files and see. Okay, if it works, that's great. Rails DB migrate. Okay, what is the error? An error has occurred. This and all later migrations cancelled. Okay. Change column null expects a Boolean value. True for null, false for not null. Okay. Okay. Argument change column null expects a Boolean value true for null. Okay. So we are giving this information. I think it accepts only true or false. Where false means that it is not null and true means it is null. Okay. So let's try this again. I'll just clear this and clear again. Now let's run this. Rails DB migrate. And the migration was successful. Let's see that in a schema. We can see null false, null false. Great. So we made sure that at database level, we are able to protect it. But as I mentioned, if you are an experienced developer, even if you are not, you should at least try to imagine this. What happens is that to a Postgres database, at any given point, roughly at best, like if you have done a lot of optimization, at best, 1,000 concurrent users can get attached, which is very less. Okay. Obviously, all those 1,000 users will get their queried answer within 10 milliseconds, which is really fast, good enough, not really fast, but good enough. But the point is only 1,000 people can connect. So what we would want is all those 1,000 people should have meaningful interaction with the schema. And earlier in our example, what we were trying to do is we were trying to add something, but it was failing because the description was null. So that thing is not meaningful. So we want that for those silly things which are not meaningful, the database should not get busy. And because of that, we would want that validation in our quiz or basically at model level. So let's do that. For that, we'll use title, validates title, presence, presence, true. I'm not fully sure. I've written it like this, but there might be a couple of pieces fixing. So we'll just Google search it. But the point here is that here it will automatically validate that the title for this quiz is available by using presence true. So let's do that. Check presence, P-R-E, in model for a string. Simple. Okay. By the way, you have to not learn just code, you have to in Rails. If you are using a particular framework, using Rails, using those words is important. Okay. And I would highly encourage you to do these Google search and everything. It's important. Active record validations. Check presence of a column value in model in Rails. Let's do. Validates name presence true. So the code is correct, but at the same time, I verified it that okay, I'm on the right track just because I've been coding in JavaScript for almost 2 months now. So yeah, whatever it is, it's fine. So we are correct. Yeah. Do we have to do it for description also? Yes. Great. Do we have to do it for timestamps also? No. These are the things which are taken care of from the Rails framework. We don't have to worry about it. So that's first part is done. Our quiz model has been fixed correctly. Okay. So we'll do that similar thing for correct answer question and question mapping also. So next thing is question. Let's go in that. These are questions. Now again, what we want is we want title, and because it's a quiz, that means it should have at least two options. The other two can be null, but it should have at least two options. Okay. So we'll make sure that title, option A, option B are not null. So again, now because we have done it once, it becomes easy. Uh, Rails generate migration update, Rails generate migration update, title and options in questions. Okay. By the way, you can write code here also to generate it correctly. Basically, you can have pre-filled code. You can mention the column names, and inside that, you can mention that it is not null or those kind of things. But I'm using it like this. It's fine. Both of these are correct only. There is no right or wrong here. Okay. So similar to that, I'll just copy paste the last one. Okay. Paste it here. But what is our table name? Table name is questions. Okay. What is our text title? Okay. Title should not be null, so false. And I want option A and option B not to be null, at least two. Okay, so I'm trying to prioritize A and B. C and D can be null. If they are null, we will show only two options. If they are not null, we will show those options also. So we'll optimize our front end accordingly. Rails DB migrate. And you can see, okay. So let's add validation for these. Uh, Validates, or maybe let me directly copy paste this. Option A option. Okay. So we are making sure that title, option A and option B are not null, and C and D can be null. Even if they are null, they will go here. Okay. So we have done the basic work. Great. Now let's focus on other models, which is after questions, there was a connection between those two. Okay. Or maybe we can go to correct answer also. Okay. So let's go to correct answer. Now we know that correct answer belongs to a question. Okay. It was generated by our code only. But what it means is that because this correct answer, if we go to its schema, let me open it here actually, close the other ones so that it's visible. Or maybe I should actually do one thing, split up and down. Split down. Okay. And let's have a look at the correct answer. Correct answer, correct answer, correct answer. Great. It has a question ID, it has correct option, and other things are by default. Okay. Now we know that this question ID is from coming from questions table. It is not part of the correct answers table. Okay. So what happens is uh, by default, when you are creating correct queries in Rails, generating the model, and you are using a foreign key, what it will do is it will add this belongs to question. Okay. And if you think of it in plain English, what it means is that correct answer belongs to a question model, which is correct. Each and every correct answer will belong to a question. Okay. Which is completely correct. Like it's like saying, uh, each book belongs to an author, which is correct. Obviously, without author, there cannot be any book, right? Uh, Even if it is an AI, it is an author, right? So similar to that, each correct answer belongs to a question. Now, how do you decide you have to write belongs to, or there are other things also? How do you decide that? So for that, what we do is, if in this model, which is correct answer, which is this model, there is a foreign key. Question ID is a foreign key. Okay, it's not part of this table, it is coming from another table. So if we have a foreign key, we say belongs to. Whenever we are using foreign key, we say belongs to. So we could have written, let's say, validate, validates question ID presence true. Okay, we could have written this, it would have been fine. Okay, sorry, there's a bit disturbance. I'll just pause for a minute. Okay, so there's some construction work going on, so I might have to pause a couple of more times. What's happening here? Okay, so we were discussing that I could have written question ID presence true, which is correct, but it would just validate that some values associated with question ID. Okay, it won't validate that this question ID is actually the correct question ID which is available in create table also. Okay, so for that reason, belongs to question is a very safe thing. At the same time, it allows us to access question from this correct answer table also. How we do that, all those things will come later on, but it is a really correct way to mentioning things in Rails that okay, this correct answer belongs to a question and it will make sure that this question is present in questions table. Okay, if it is not, it will give us a responsible error uh, in one way or the other. Okay, now let's see. Question ID is done. Correct option. Okay, so correct option. We know that validates uh, correct option presence true. Okay, so we know this much, but we also know that earlier we discussed that correct option will be either A, B, C, D. Okay, or we can say it will be 0, 1, 2, 3. 0 means A, 1 means B, 2 means C, 3 means D. Now we know that. We can validate here also. Okay, so for that, let's do a simple Google search. We have to use a property called inclusion. Okay, so let's do that. Inclusion in Rails. Let's see. I'm doing Google search just to remember that we don't have to know all these things correctly. Okay, we just have to know the correct words. Okay, the machine has already started, but I'll quickly finish this. So you can simply write incursion and all the values here. So let's do that. Presence true. Why is it writing like this? It's an old coding convention. We have to follow the new one. Incursion. Let's go to it. And yes, this is the correct coding. In now we can mention the array. So we want 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. They have mentioned the sizes. They have mentioned excursion also, that these are the things that I don't want. Generally, you use it for some sort of negative words also. Like, for example, if someone is updating a title of the quiz, we won't want some negative word like really bad word like, let's say, porn or sex or those kind of things, right? So those things we can create a list of those words and use them in excursion. Okay, so there are various things. I'll stop here for a moment and I'll continue again just because the noise and it is a bit problematic for me. Okay, so we used incursion, but I think this one is a better one using numericality, which means that we are making sure that we are using only numbers. So let's add this also. Okay, does it provide, okay, greater than or equal to, these kind of things we can use. So let's use numericality. Instead of incursion, let's use directly numericality. Uh, Obviously, it should be only integer. So only integer true. And we want is this between 0 to 4, right? So there are various values here. Let's use that. Greater than or equals to 0, less than or equals to 4. Okay. The earlier one was a shorter code. We could have used that easily. Greater than or equal to 3. Okay. But at the same time, this one is also good. This makes sure that everything is also correct. So both of these approaches are actually exactly same. There is no advantage or disadvantage on any of these. You could have used incursion, you could have used numericality. It's up to you. It's not a big deal actually. Okay, but I'm just giving you various options. Which one do you want to use? This understanding both these things is good. Numericality you can use with numbers only. Incursion you could have used with ABCD also. Okay, so that's an advantage, disadvantage, those kind of things. Okay, so we have done the basic validation for correct answer also. Do we have anything correct answer? Question ID, option ID, it is present, it is between numbers, it is an only integer, it should be greater than or equal to 0 and less than equals to 3. So everything is correct with respect to correct answer also. Great. Let's close this one. Now let's go to quiz question mapping. Okay. So we have this mapping. We know that. Let's have a look at quiz question mapping. In this, only quiz ID and question ID is important. So it belongs to a quiz ID, which is quiz, which is correct. It belongs to a question, which is correct. So let's not change anything. There will be some changes in this, but this is correct. Okay. Now, at this point, you have understood two major things. One is the validates, which make sure that the value is present. And if you want that to be a specific number, you can control that. If you want that to be a specific string, you can control that using incursion. Okay, so validates is that thing. Second thing was belongs to. Whenever you are using a foreign key in the model, you mention which model it belongs to. Okay, so at database level, we are using quiz ID to map it here. At model level, we are using question model to map it. Okay, so if I click on it, you can see I'm directly going to question model. Okay, let's open this. So belongs to, you have understood. This is called an association. Okay, how are various models associated with each other? So there are different types of association. Another one is has one, another one is has many, and a bit more. I'll just pause again. Okay, so whenever we have anything related to belongs to, there are other things also which is generally has one and has many. So let's understand that also. Let me search belongs to association in Rails. There are various other associations also. We'll learn three more associations. This is one of those. This is one, and another three we will learn in this video only. So there's a book and author. Okay, it's a very famous example. This. So you see belongs to author, which is correct. So at the same time, we are using has many books in author table. Okay. So whenever you think of using belongs to, make sure that you use it in two ways. Okay. Let's have a look. So as I mentioned, we use, let me close this. We use belongs to, where was it? Correct answer. Yeah. We use belongs to whenever we have a foreign key, right? So similar to that, let's have a look at our schema and decide what all tables we have to focus on to use belongs to. Okay, wherever we are using foreign key, we will use belongs to. So let's see. Correct tables, does it have a foreign key? Yes, question ID. And for that, we have this belongs to. Great. Okay. By the way, we are using question, not question ID, because question will automatically have its ID along with all the details. Okay. I'm going in real depth here. Okay. So just keep focus. Quiz mapping. Okay. It has a question quiz ID, which is a foreign key. Question ID, which is a foreign key. Okay. Let's go here. Belongs to this, belongs to this. Great. Both of them are covered. Quizzes doesn't have anything and questions doesn't have anything. So we are done with belongs to. Now, there's this is one way of mapping like child to parent, child to parent, child to parent. Now we have to connect parent to child also, which is, I'm giving you a very simple example. This quiz, wait, let's go here. This question has correct answer. Is it correct sentence or not? Yes, this question does have one correct answer. Obviously, in schema and all those things we cannot see, but for that we use something called as association, which is has one or has many association. Let's go to questions. Question. I'll, Normally we do these associations at the top, the validations at the bottom. Okay, and if there are any functions, we will keep it below validations. So I'll write has one. There is only one for each question. There can be only one answer. There cannot be multiple answers, right? So has one. What is the table name? Correct answer, right? So we'll use that. Correct answer. Okay. So what it means is that each question has one correct answer. Grammatically, this English sentence is correct. That this question has one correct answer. Okay. The advantage of this is that using this question model, we can easily use correct answer also now. We'll do that later on. But the point here is that because we were using belongs to, it's nice to use has one or has many relation also. Okay. So that's one, like question has one correct answer. That's it. Great. Now, along with this, what we will have to do is, for example, there is a question one which has an answer A. Okay, the correct answer is mentioned here. Now, if that question gets deleted, we will also have to delete its corresponding correct answer. Correct? So for that, we will use something called as dependent destroy. Let me check that. I think dependent underscore destroy true or something like that. Okay, this. Okay. So what it means is that if this question gets deleted, because it has a correct answer, which depends on this question, that particular correct answer will also get deleted. Okay, I'll show you the example and everything around that, but this is what it means, dependent destroy. Okay, great. Now, let's have a look at our question also. Let's go to it. So, okay, I think question has only this. Okay, it doesn't have anything else. So that's great. Now, this question has many. This question is part of many quiz question mapping, right? So has many quiz question. Let me check why is it not working. Okay, quiz question mapping. Quiz question mapping. Dependent destroy. Okay, what it means is that this question belongs to many quiz question mappings also, which is correct. This question belongs to a correct answer. This question also belongs to a quiz question mapping. That's why this quiz question mapping has belongs to also. Okay, so this is also true. If it is not clear, do let me know. But the point is, whenever you are using belongs to in its parent, we generally have to use has one or has many. Okay, so that we can use these things easily. For example, in future, if we are trying to access any particular question, we can just write question dot correct answer. Okay, and it will work because we are using correct answer here. Okay, let's clear this. Great. It has many quiz question mapping, and if this question gets deleted, all the entries related to that particular question in the quiz question mapping will also get deleted. Great. So that's one. We have to add one more association here, but we'll check that in some time. Let's go to correct answer. Correct answer belongs to a question. That's done. Remove it. This is also done. Remove it. Quiz. Again, quiz belongs to quiz question mapping also. So, and there are multiple, one quiz can have multiple mapping with quiz question mapping, right? So, has many quiz question, has many quiz question mappings, which is mapping. And if this quiz gets deleted, dependent destroy. Okay, if this quiz gets deleted, all its corresponding questions and answers should also get deleted. So, for example, if this quiz gets deleted, we have written dependent destroy. Okay, now all the mappings will get deleted, but all the questions and all will not get deleted yet. We'll see how we can fix that. Okay, but there is one more which I mentioned. I would like to use quiz dot questions directly. Okay, currently I cannot do that. I can use quiz question mapping, I can use title, I can use description, but I would want questions also. Indirectly, we can do it. Indirectly, in a way, we can do it like this: quiz dot this dot. Now this quiz question mapping, why is it not opening? Quiz question mapping does have all the questions also. Okay, so we can use indirectly, in a way we can use it like this. Okay, so basically we are using questions in quiz through quiz question mapping. Quiz question mapping is the connecting bridge between them. So for that, we can use a through association. Let's use that. Has many questions through THROUGS. Let me go here. THROUGS. You can use has many, has one through also. Wait. Has many through. Okay. So like for example, appointments and through appointments. Okay. So whatever it is, let's go to our case. Has many questions through quiz question mapping. So what it means in short is that this quiz depends on quiz question mapping, and because of this quiz question mapping, we can fetch all the questions also. So now we don't have to write this because this variable exists. We can use quiz questions directly. Okay, this is called via connection. Okay, or bridge connection or through connection. It is like basically it, quiz question mapping is a mutual friend between those two things, and that's how I can say that question knows quiz. Okay, indirectly via quiz question mapping. Okay, it's like saying there is a friend A who is friend with B, and B is friend with C. A is not friend with C. Okay, but we can say that A knows C because of B. Quiz knows questions through quiz question mapping. Okay, try to understand it this way. Okay, and again, what we would want is dependent destroy. So what it means is that if a quiz gets deleted, all its quiz question mapping will get deleted, and all its questions will also get deleted. If in the end, if question is getting deleted, correct answer depends on it, so correct answer will also get deleted. So in a way, it's a full circle. If your quiz gets deleted, everything easily gets deleted. We won't have to worry about it. We won't have to write any query for it. Okay. So that's the power of these associations. Okay. You can use it in your code, like I mentioned, quiz.questions, and you can use it to manage your database also, to make sure that your database clears entries automatically. Okay. Great. Quiz has many questions, that's correct. Similar to that, if we go to other schemas, let me check. Correct answer, no. Let's start from top. Quiz is the first thing. We have mentioned everything. Great. Then comes quiz question mapping. Great. Then comes question also. So each question has a correct answer. Each question has quiz question mapping. I think that's all great. I'll see if we are missing anything else. But I think that's overall the overall connection. So again, to repeat quickly, yeah. First thing we did was Rails migration, okay, to make sure that things are not null. Okay, so that was a database related security. Second, we made sure we add validations in our models also. So model validation. Along with that, we make sure that validate via via numbers, numeric by numbers and um, numbers and inclusion. Okay, so we make sure that we can provide specific values, include them, and we can specify the range for numbers. So we validated by that also. Then we understood associations. What are those associations? Belongs to. Whenever we are using foreign key in a particular model, we use belongs to for that to connect to that particular model. We used has one if there is only one to one mapping. We used has many if there is many to many mapping or one to many mapping. We used through to make sure that if A is connected to B, B is connected to C, so we can use C in A. So A is connected to C basically. Okay, similar to this one, quiz. Quiz is connected to questions, but we knew that in between them, quiz question mapping did can, right? So I think for now this is all good. If there are any other associations or mappings or model related thing, we will update it. But hope it is clear. I wanted to cover it all in one video just because it's an important topic. Now we know that our database is not fully done yet. We will have more details in future. And at that point, we will add more work around that. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's run this app to see if there are any issues or not. Rails server. Okay, at least it started here. So let's see if there are any runtime error. Has many quiz this. Okay. Unknown key dependent valid keys class name anonymous class name. Okay. Quiz question mapping. Okay, let me check. Okay, I'm unable to go to this. I'm able to go, no, quiz question mapping, quiz question mapping, quiz question mapping dependent. Okay, let's comment this for now and see. Then we have for second, okay. Has many, do I have to write quiz, has many appointments. Okay, so multiple quiz question mappings. Let's refresh again. Maybe I'm writing some spelling mistake. Has many appointments, has many quiz question mappings. Quiz does have many quiz question mappings. Let me find dependent destroy. Okay, there was a spelling mistake actually. Dependent. Let me check if there are any other one. Nope. Question dependent. Let's rerun this and see. Okay, everything is working. That means we have fixed it. There was no big error. We just wrote, there was just a spelling mistake. So I'm not afraid of all these things. It's fine. Uh, that's all. If you have any feedback, do let me know. Uh, and I hope you have learned not the main learnings here should be not about the code, but the general things that you have to keep in mind, like the associations, the through you said the has many has one. If you don't remember the code, that's completely fine. Just Google search and you can use it easily. At the same time, don't be afraid to make mistakes in this. Again, if you like this video, do comment, share, subscribe. Okay, and I would highly encourage if you join the membership. That's all. Thank you. Bye bye.